welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey and I'm here today for the start of a new read-along. So if you watched my video that I posted in the beginning of August, I think, or maybe it was July, but regardless, Hanani and I are rekindling our Riordan read-along vibes with the Heroes of Olympus series. This is the first book in the series, The Lost Hero. We're going to be starting it today in about 15 minutes. We're going to start our sprints and I'm going to start the book on the live. So I have no idea what this series is about. When I went into Percy Jackson, I had like an idea of what the series was because Percy Jackson has been around since my childhood, so I kind of knew what I was getting into. With the Heroes of Olympus, the only thing I really know is that there's like a new prophecy. Percy had kind of like fulfilled the last prophecy. I thought this series was going in straight with Nico, and I think Nico and Percy and Annabeth are still like involved in this series, but the series follows Jason, Piper, and Leo. So I think Jason is like unaware of what he is. He knows that he's going to a boarding school for bad kids. He has a girlfriend named Piper and his best friend is named Leo, but it seems like from at least the summary that Piper and Leo kind of know what's going on or have an idea of it. So I'm very excited to read this, get into this, see what happens, because I'm definitely starting in this series knowing absolutely nothing. I will probably update you after I get about maybe 100 pages in. These ones are definitely longer than the Percy Jackson series, so we'll see how it goes. If I even end up reading it in one day like I normally do, we'll see. But thank you for being here. Thank you for joining along on the ride. Me and Hanani are very excited for this, so let's get started.
Hello.
Hello. Anything, it's always a mess.
Yeah, I know, but I was trying to be prepared this time. Yes. I forgot we were doing this and what day we're doing it. Are you crying? Are you just
I literally muted myself so you wouldn't hear me burp, and then you had to point out. Woo!
Wow. Okay, wait, let me see if it works.
It's a beautiful day.
Am I like a YouTuber?
And I think what's interesting, and I've had this theory since Nico was introduced in Percy Jackson, that because the Greek gods are also Roman gods.
Yeah.
They have two names, right?
Yeah.
And Nico is Italian. And I feel like I clung to that and I'm like, something's happening with the fact that Nico's Italian. It's so weird that they would do that. Jason in this book mentioned something, and then Annabeth was like, do you mean the Amunanai and like the Greek version of the word? And he's like, Venti.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, that's an Italian word. And I'm like, I wonder how that will happen and if it plays a role. And like, are they different kids if the god was the Roman version? Like, I'm curious, like, if that'll play any part.
Okay, so we're just about to end the sprints. We're in our last sprint that I wanted to talk about because I got to page 95. I'm at chapter 8. And something that's crazy about this book is that there's a lot more revelations in here, or at least more stuff is happening in this book than what we saw in the Percy Jackson series. So we definitely had revelations. Percy was definitely a character that didn't know a lot about the world, but I mentioned this in the sprints, and I find in this book there's a lot more mystery going on. It's a lot more there's a lot more dread and it's more anxiety inducing, so that keeps the readers wanting to read more, right? And there's a lot more revelations because we're comfortable with the Percy Jackson universe and we're comfortable with Greek mythology, but the characters in here, there's a lot more going on. So I'll talk about each individual character in a sense. I won't hold up the book because if you're watching this vlog, you know what book this is. So for Jason, I have a lot of theories. So Jason is a character who doesn't remember anything that's going on. He has no memories. He doesn't know who he is. And I think that's really interesting, primarily because Jason is now kind of this blank character that we're following. So in the book, at one point, Jason is able to speak Latin, and that's different because Percy and Annabeth and all of them understand and read ancient Greek, and Jason seems to be the only one that speaks Latin, which is obviously of Roman descent, right? So the theory that I've had for a while is that in the Percy Jackson series, because Nico is Italian, I feel like that was such a weird comment. I think it played well in the Percy Jackson series because it goes with why Hades' children were born but then not found for a while, because it was to put him in a sense of time after World War II. But the fact that he's mentioned as Italian always like struck a chord with me, not just because of my heritage, but also because he's the only one that's kind of given a nationality, right? So I find that to be really interesting, and I had a feeling that it would play a role, right? Because from what I know of mythology, the Greeks and the Romans had the same gods, but they just gave them different names. So I feel like that was going to play a part somehow. And because Jason speaks Latin, I feel like this is how we're going to tie in together these two seemingly similar mythologies that occurred at the same time into a story at one point. So Jason speaks Latin. It's mentioned several times that he understands Latin, that he speaks Latin, and he doesn't know why. He doesn't understand why. At one point, there is a like mythical like mist that happens, and this woman is speaking to Jason, and she's saying how she was the one that took her memories and that she needs to be freed. And she's like, you're named after one of my favorite mortals, right? Jason. The Jason that's in mythology is Jason and the Argonauts. So when you look up Jason and the Argonauts, it talks about the Golden Fleece, which is something that is mentioned at the camp now. They have the Golden Fleece, and that was given to them in the Percy Jackson series by, I think, the old Jason, if I'm not mistaken. So we have that Jason and the Argonauts plot somehow happening. And Jason and the Argonauts occurs in mythology before the Trojan War, right? So the Trojan War was started by Helen of Troy, right? Or is the cause of Helen of Troy. And what's interesting is that in Piper's storyline that we see, she also has this mythical being that's asking her to free her. That's one of Piper's dreams. That's what she's seeing, and she's very scared and nervous about it. And when Piper meets Rachel, who is the Oracle of Camp Half-Blood, the Oracle comes out at one point and is asking Piper to free her, and then Piper faints, right? But before that, Piper is interested in a weapon in the weapon room, and that weapon happened to be owned by Helen of Troy, right? And there's a lot of discussions about curses in this book and the curse of Helen of Troy. So she started the Trojan War, and it's all because of her, and she never really used this knife. Now Piper has it. Piper is seemingly the girlfriend of Jason and the Argonauts. So now I'm wondering, is there going to be this conflict between Jason and Piper as Jason and Helen of Troy, right? So there's that. Also guys, after doing more research, I realized that the Argonauts were 50 heroes, okay? And what is 50 divided by 7? It's a little bit more than 7. And what is the new prophecy in this series? The prophecy of the 7. I really think I'm onto something, guys. I really think I'm a genius here. Then, speaking of curses, we also have Leo's storyline, where the Hephaestus cabin is dealing with this like curse because what was his name? Beckendorf had died in the Percy Jackson series, and that was a really turning point in the series because I find it was the first time that there wasn't a consequence in the novel and something sad actually happened. Someone died, right? Now there's this curse on the cabin because they're not able to create tools that work, and it is seen as a curse because Hephaestus's children should be able to be good with tools, right? Good with creating things and making weapons and whatnot. So there's this curse now that because Beckendorf died, they are not able to do it, and they need to take down the metal dragon that is kind of attacking Camp Half-Blood. And it's this dragon, so because they're all riding on it, I think things will go well. But basically at this point, they want to destroy it because it keeps coming back and destroying cabins and then leaving, and they don't know how to fix it, right? Because they have this curse on them. And then something else that was interesting is that Leo was mentioning that children of Hephaestus were able to control fire, but at this point, no child has been born in many years that is able to control fire, obviously, until Leo reveals that he has some sort of like firepower. So this is really interesting. A lot has occurred in the first 100 pages, which was something that we didn't really see in the Percy Jackson series, because I find the Percy Jackson series focused more on plot, and this one is really focusing on the backstory of the characters, and I feel like it's going to be more of retellings of Greek and Roman facets rather than a plot-driven story on its own. And I think that that's a really interesting take for Rick Riordan to do. He's already changing it up with having a more mysterious element of the book, having multiple POVs. That's not something we saw in the Percy Jackson series. It was mostly told from his point of view. So I think that's really interesting that we're seeing multiple perspectives. And then additionally, this interweaving plot more of Roman and Greek mythology than we saw in the Percy Jackson series. So it's really exciting. I find it's really developed. I'm genuinely impressed with the way that this story is going, so I'm very excited to continue. This is our last sprint, so from this point on I will be reading it throughout the course of the rest of the day, probably tomorrow, and we'll see what happens.
That part with Leo's like, what did he say? Oh my god, it was so funny. Leo didn't stick around after Piper turned beautiful. Sure, it was amazing and all, but Leo had other problems to deal with.
He's got makeup makeup. It's a miracle.
And I'm just like, what the fuck? And he's like, literally like, I don't care.
Thank you so much. I'll see you guys later.
Bye.
First of all, please excuse the football game that's going on. Apparently something crazy is happening with the LA Raiders. That's up to my boyfriend to freak out about. What I'm freaking out about, actually, is, I know I've brought this up a lot. I know. But the Roman, like, history or mythology is really, like, intriguing to me. Especially because I know of it a bit more than, like, Greek mythology, let's say. So in Jason's most recent vision, he meets up with someone named Lupa, and she's the mother wolf. And I was like, the mother wolf? So then I Googled, like, Lupa, wolf, whatever, and she is in Roman mythology, she is the wolf that takes care of the twins Romulus and Remus. And I was like, holy shit, do you know how many statues of this wolf my grandparents have in their house? Do you know? I had one growing up. For what reason? Why did I need a mother wolf with 2 twins underneath her? There was no need for that. But I had one. We love Lupa. So we'll see how it goes. If Jason is a descendant of Romulus and Remus, that will be really interesting. But right now we know that he's Zeus's kid. However, I'm coming up with a theory now. And I think if they are not half gods on one side, so like Annabeth, like Percy, where they have like a very mortal parent and a Greek parent. This is a wild statement. I think that they might have one Greek parent or one Roman god parent, and then one parent who is like somehow involved in mythology somewhere, somehow. So I'm wondering now if Jason is a descendant of Lupa. Does that mean that Jason's mom was a descendant of Lupa? Rather than like Jason's mom being Lupa, you know? Jason is a descendant of Lupa because his mom is a descendant of Lupa. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So I feel like this series is going to like integrate both sides. And that I think works into my theory of Piper, where maybe her father is a descendant of like a Cherokee god or mythological figure and a Greek or Roman god. Does that make sense? I'm calling it now. This is my theory, and we will see if I'm right. Basically, at this point, if you're watching this, I do know that Jason is the sister of Talia, okay? So I know that they both have the same mom. And I know that according to the text at this point, she was completely immortal. However, I do still stand, and I want to keep this statement in case I am right in the future. And I'm going to make a guess now that Talia and Jason's mom is a descendant somehow of Romulus and Remus and Lupa, because I really do believe, and I think in this book they kind of play it off, but there's some things with Grandpa Tom that make me feel like there's a lot to Piper's backstory that we don't yet know. And so I still want to stand by this statement that I think these generations of demigods have some sort of like descendants of mythology somehow integrated in them, besides the fact that they're like demigods. I want to hold on to this. Not Jason having to go to Quebec. Annabeth smiled. I hope you speak French. What the fuck is happening? Is this the book for me? Good morning. It's a new day. It's a new dawn. I feel like absolute shit. I took the day off because I'm so tired and sick, and I'm feeling really gross. So I just decided to like take the day off, chill, even though I probably shouldn't because I have quite a bit of work to do. You know, you win some, you lose some. But I will be continuing Percy Jackson. I will be continuing the Heroes of Olympus today. I got 250 pages into it yesterday. I don't know if I had said that or like finalized my like daily page count. But I read 250 pages yesterday. So I definitely want to finish it today. That's the goal. Because I would like to edit this vlog and get it out. It's so like ugly outside and gross, and like normally I would love to like take you guys out on walks and like, you know, just make it look like I have a life. Not the vibe for today. Maybe we'll walk down the stairs and check if we have mail. We'll see. Hello. So I wanted to add something interesting to the vlog because, as I told you, it's raining outside. So I decided I just took a shower and maybe we could do my hair care routine. So the first thing is to have some of it dried with I don't know what type of material this is, but I got it from the company Function of Beauty, and I don't know, it's apparently supposed to be like nicer on your hair. So that's what we use for drying. Then before I move into like my oils and stuff, I put L'Oreal Paris Total Repair 5 Replenishing Detangling Care. I don't know if it works, but I do brush my hair. So in order to not like pull on my hair strands, I do add this to my hair. It's a bit oily, so instead of spraying directly on my hair, sometimes it gets on the floor and then we like slip and slide and fall in the bathroom. It's happened on several occasions. So I just apply it to my hands and then apply it to my hair. I went to Italy, so I don't have the original packaging of these. But this is a leave-in conditioner. It's like a milky kind of substance. It's not really a conditioner, but same thing. I put it on my hands and then I apply it to my hair and I like massage my scalp with it. I don't know why I do this. I saw that it helps with hair growth and I have very thin hair. So does it work? I don't know. I also use this to apply my shampoo. Does it work? I also don't know. But it just like, I massage my scalp with it. So I do the same when I apply that leave-in conditioner serum. Then I also have a hair serum that I put, and apparently this also helps with hair growth. Again, this is all alleged from the Sephora commenters. I don't know if it works. I've only been using it for like a month. So I don't know if it really works, but I like to work it into my hair. And then lastly, if you can't tell, my ends are extremely dry. Like this is right out of the shower and they're already like super dry. So I add coconut oil to my ends. I also think it smells good. And I like the way coconut oil smells, so that's why I mostly apply it to my hair. But I do apply it to my ends so that they get like some moisture, because in between like haircuts, and like granted I don't go that often, but in between haircuts I just want to keep them like feeling fresh and funky, you know? And then I go in with my wet brush and I find my hairline and then I just brush it out. Now, I don't know if any of this works, so please don't take this as like what you need to do, because I definitely wouldn't say I have the healthiest hair. I was an emo bitch and I did ruin my hair in high school. So I definitely need to go to the hairdresser and chop off like a couple of my ends. But yeah, that is my hair care routine. If you think I could be doing things better, let me know. I do use a hair mask, I do use shampoo, and I do use conditioner. So I don't know what else I could be doing to help my hair. Probably going to the hairdresser more often is what I need to do. But anyways, hello. So there have been a lot of updates for the book. First of all, we find out that Talia and Jason are actually blood related siblings. What's interesting, and something that I'm not sure if I predicted it in this vlog or in the live show, or if it was just in my thoughts and I never vocalized it, but Jason was essentially born or conceived when Zeus was in his Roman form. And that's why Talia connects more with ancient Greece, because Zeus was Zeus, and Jason connects more with Roman gods because Zeus was Jupiter. So that's one revelation that we're discovering. And I think something else that is making a difference, so when they met with Medea at a like Macy's of some sort, they found purple t-shirts with Roman numerals on them, I think. And Jason is beginning to wonder if that means that there's like a Camp Half-Blood for Roman conceived children. So that's really interesting. I feel like this is where, I know I talk about Nico a lot, but I feel like this is where Nico might come in the next few books, because there is a prophecy of the 7. There's only 3 main characters so far, 3 demigods: Jason, Leo, and Piper. So I'm keen to see who the 7 are. I really do think it's Nico, just because I know that like Nico is a bigger deal than just being a character of the Percy Jackson series. Another thing that we're discovering is that all 3 of them are bound to this prophecy with Hera, and they're all kind of being like blackmailed by another entity. This entity is coming from the earth. So basically, because the gods are like not responding or answering to any of like the whims of earth or like any of the demigods, I think what's happening is that the underworld is like not working anymore, or like what's blocking these like previously dead figures like Medea and King Midas to come back up from the underworld is because they're not being blocked anymore. And so there's some sort of person or entity that is allowing them to come back up and like be rebirthed in a way. So I'm excited to see where that story goes, because it ties into Jason, Leo, and Piper's stories, specifically Piper and her dad, because her dad was kidnapped. I have a feeling her dad, I think I said this in this vlog too, or maybe just in the sprints, but I think her dad has a more important role than is being led on by the series. So we'll see about that. But interesting things have been revealed. I am currently at page 400, so I have about 150 pages left. I'm hoping to finish it tonight and get like a final thought and everything tomorrow. But if I don't, I will just finish this tomorrow and then edit and post this vlog. But because I took the day off today, I'm probably gonna work a little bit more the next couple of days. So we'll see what happens. Hello, welcome back. We are here to update on the final 100 pages of The Lost Hero and my overall thoughts about the book. So lots of revelations happened in the last 100 pages, to the point that I am genuinely impressed by how much Rick Riordan put into this series. Like it's astonishing to me that he was able to have like a murder mystery, even though nobody was murdered, but like you get what I'm saying. Like there was like this mystery aspect and an adventure story and a fantasy story and a well-developed character story. I was just truly impressed by this book. In the final 100 pages, you find out about Jason's kind of background and where he potentially comes from. I don't want to get too much into spoilers, but I do think that where he comes from is opening up a really interesting background to the rest of the book. They do find out that part of the prophecy of the seven is traveling to where the Greek gods are originally from, so Greece. And that's really interesting to me because I already found that this book opened up into the world. One of the clips in this vlog is me laughing because they end up in Quebec. So the Percy Jackson series, like if I had to have a critique about it, because I genuinely do think it was like fun and really good, is that it focused a lot on the United States and particularly the eastern coast of the United States. And what I appreciated about this is right from the get-go, even though it is focusing still in the United States, we're already getting the western coast, we're already getting the southern United States, but we also got fucking Quebec. And I genuinely can't believe it. Is there a critique to be made that Rick Riordan had to go to the coldest place that the kids could genuinely think of, and it happened to be Canada and it happened to be Quebec? Yes. Are we one of the coldest provinces though? Yes. I mean, in Quebec, we literally have La Carnival. We have a celebration for the winter. And we even have a snowman mascot named Bonhomme Carnival. So, like, do we love winter here? Probably. Regardless, I'm excited for that aspect of it. What's really intriguing now is that Jason and Piper and Leo and Annabeth are traveling now to go find the Roman Camp Half-Blood version, because one of the prophecies that Hera was speaking of is that it was an exchange of two leaders. And if we go by just the fact that they're the main characters, Jason and Percy are obviously the two leaders of these two separate camps, and obviously they swapped points, because something I didn't talk about really in this vlog is that Percy's missing, and that's part of like Annabeth's whole like storyline and Talia's storyline in the book. So that intrigues me. I'm really interested to see where we go from there, because I knew Percy and Annabeth were in this series and I knew that they played a role in it, but I didn't know it was gonna be as big. Like I just didn't think Percy was gonna matter in this book series, but I'm happy that he's coming back, because I really do like Percy, and I think Leo provided that sense of comedic relief that I think was missing because Percy wasn't there, because I found Piper and Jason's characters to be a lot more serious, and I could see that that's why people don't really jive with them as quickly. Like if you watched the reading sprints I had with Honani, we both instantly loved Leo, and I think Leo is that comedic relief character that has a lot of heart and a lot of background to him that pulls you in, and I think that that's what Percy had in the first book. So I'm interested to see how Leo and Percy will like kind of connect and like speak. I don't know. That's going to be an interesting part of the next book. I know Percy has a perspective in the next book because at the end of this one, when it says like, get a sneak peek of the son of Neptune, the first chapter is from Percy's point of view. So now we'll move into my critique of the novel. So I ended up giving this book a 4 stars. If I had to rate this just about how like I feel of Rick Riordan as a developed author, I would totally give this a 5 stars. I think this is skill-wise miles better than the Percy Jackson series, but if I had to go with entertainment, this is where my rating kind of lowers. I found this book to be a little too long for an introduction to a 5-book series. Like I mentioned, the mystery aspect of the book was not something that I expected, so that was an absolute delight to experience for sure. But I think Riordan could have pursued this structure of the novel a little bit more and have what was the final battle here somewhere else in the rest of the series, because there were 2 battles in this book, and I think if he would have either removed one or merged them, I think it would have been a more solid book and it wouldn't have felt as dragged on. Like I mentioned, I really enjoyed the new characters. I'm very excited to follow them from their perspectives. I'm very excited to learn more about them. Obviously, Leo the most. He's such a sweet little angel jelly bean little fish cake and I love him. I'm super intrigued by who will be the remaining 4 in the Prophecy of 7. We have 3 confirmed so far. I do think it's going to be Percy and Annabeth. That's like a prediction that I have. So really we're only looking at 2 more new characters. I don't think Nico is going to be one of them. And that's another critique I have. There was not enough Nico in this book and I want to know why. Where is he? What is he doing? Where is he? I think the mystery aspect of the book really worked to keep me engaged until the end of the novel. And I'm super into this idea of blending Greek and Roman mythology. I think it's going to be really, really interesting. And I could see the potential of this being a series that I enjoy more than the Percy Jackson series just because it's more developed. There's more backstory. There's just more world building behind who these characters are. I do miss Percy. I'm excited that we're going to see more of him. And like, that's it, I guess. That's the end of like my review. That's the end of this vlog. I know it wasn't the most interesting of vlogs and I'm sorry about that. Like I said, it's been raining for 3 days in a row. I have not even left my house, if that tells you anything. I am going a little stir crazy. If you have read the Heroes of Olympus series, no spoilers in the comments, please, but like, let me know if some of my theories are on the right track. I don't know if I want to know, but like I kind of want to know. If you've read this book, please let me know what you thought about it. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you feel the same about me, that it was like a little too long, but it feels really developed and feels really strong? I would love to know. Of course, if you would like to follow me on any of my other social medias, I do leave a link down below to my Goodreads, Twitter, and Instagram if you would like to follow me there. And of course, because it is the end of the video, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. I tell you all the time, it does wonders for my channel. It makes me feel really good. And that's it. I always feel awkward at the end of my vlogs because I don't know how to end them. So, okay, bye. Thank you.